you know Jackie Cooper?
We do know the name Jackie Cooper. He's been in the automobile business for as long as some can remember, a love affair with cars that has sustained him for 50 years. Jackie, or Jack Cooper, was named after a movie star, but raised like any other kid in Yukon. He went to public schools, grew up helping his dad Claude in the car business, and loved playing ball.
They had a most beautiful diamond in Oklahoma down there by the mill. It's all grown up in weeds now, but the whole town would turn out. And I was about a freshman in high school, and I was good, striking these guys out that were in college, and all that. I pitched and all that, but I had lots of fun. I have no regrets.
He loved the ball diamond, but his athletic ability sent him to OU on a basketball scholarship with hopes of being a coach. But when his dad needed to sell the car dealership for health reasons, Jack, then in his early 20s, stepped up.
Well, I was going to college playing basketball, and my dad got sick, and he knew that he had to sell it because the doctor told him he couldn't work any longer. And so I came home in the afternoons after practice and so forth, and was running it till we could sell it, and we'd had an offer. My dad had an offer to sell it for $15,000, a potential offer. And anyway, I got to run it, so I told my dad that I would I think I could be successful, and I'd like to buy it, and I'll pay you $30,000 for it, and pay you when I can.
That's where car history began.
And I got in with a group of doctors, and Dr. Marcus Cox was my first victim, you might say, and he started sending customers over to me, and it just kind of flourished for me.
The business was a one-man Oldsmobile show for a while. He hired his first salesman in 1955. His mother, Minnie, did the books. He was confident and shrewd.
One of the funniest ones I've ever done is back in probably the early 60s, Don Mathis came to Yukon and to buy a car, and I was busy as heck. I only had one salesman, Don Smith, and anyway, Don was there, and he was wanting to buy a car, and so anyway, I was busy, and I looked at his car, and he said, "Well, Jack, I just can't get together with you." He said, "You're just not giving me enough for my car." And I said, "Well, okay." I said, "I offered to trade with him so much difference." And I said, "Well, Don, what do you want for your car? I mean, good Lord, I've got other people out here waiting." I said, "Just don't tie me up all day." And he said, "Well, he said, I'd sell it." I said, "What would you take for it right now and just get out of it?" He said, "Well, I'd take, I think around $2,500. I said, "Well, that's just fine." I went in and typed out it myself, hand-picked it. I couldn't type fast, but typed him out a check, signed it. I said, "Don, here's a check for your car, and would you mind getting your things out of your car? And I'm going on and selling another car." So he's out there cleaning out his car and off the deal and getting everything out. And he said, "Well, Jack, how am I going to get home?" I said, "Don, I'm busy. That's your problem." But anyway, Don bought the car.
Jack grew the business from selling only one new car a month to become one of the largest auto groups in Oklahoma. Cooperville, as it was known, added the GMC line, and in the 70s branched out to Lincoln Mercury, BMW, and Rolls-Royce. Fords were added in 1988. In the early 90s, Jack bought a Mercedes-Benz dealership in Tulsa, and now carries Porsche, Volvo, Infiniti, and Nissan. Now he's sold too many cars to count. He's enjoyed every minute of it and thinks others should too.
Being in the car business is just an education of its own. You learn how to handle people, how to make them satisfied, how to sell, how to respond if they do have a problem, and work through it. And you just learn the finance, you learn so much, management.
Was there anything left to sell? Yes, Mini Cooper. He had to call someone's bluff to get the deal.
I'm trying to get to Mini Cooper, and I'll be honest with you, my mother's name was Mini Cooper, and truthfully, if you don't give me this franchise or let me sell Mini Coopers, we're going to sue you. Reminds me of my mother every time I see the name on the back.
He's never ventured far from the transportation industry, at one time selling boats and RVs. Jackie Cooper electronics and tires go hand in hand with the cars. His high school sweetheart, Barbara, has been along for the ride. He credits her with much of his success, calling her the backbone of the business from home.
She came to work for me one day, and that was it. And I don't know, I was kind of bossy here, I was just all over the board. So all of a sudden she broke out in tears and walked home. That was it.
Though not in the same office, they've been together for 54 years and been through a lot, including the loss of a child. Their son Jerry died in 1989 from AIDS.
He's quite a man. He was assistant editor to a big magazine in New York, and was destined to be the editor. And like I tell people, he just got stuck.
Together, they turned their tragedy into a reason to help others. Red Tie Night is now in its 15th year and has become a premier fundraiser for the AIDS Care Fund. The elegant event helps fund research, raise awareness, and promote education of HIV and AIDS.
We've probably raised well over $5 million, and all the money stays in Oklahoma. But we take good control of the money, and it's we probably allocate out, most places if you allocate out with a charity 30%, I imagine ours is close to 90%.
His efforts to help others led Governor Brad Henry to declare March 3rd of this year Jackie Cooper Day, an honor accepted with humility. In all the years of car selling, is there one model that stole his heart?
You know, I loved Oldsmobiles. I must say, I started with them, and the Oldsmobile Cutlass was just everybody's car. Kids loved them, the 442s, and probably is my favorite car on the long haul. But you know, that's history.
He's a man who believes in long relationships. He's had business partners for 40 years, friends for longer than that, and employees who have stuck with him for decades. They've helped him earn recognition. A forthright businessman who shoots from the hip and gives wholly from his heart, we are honored to induct Jackie Cooper into the OCU Hall of Honor.